Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how great snow is in Toyotas, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me once again for another fantastic episode of the Snail Trail 4x4 Off-Road podcast is the one and only Mr. Jimmy Jet. Jimmy, how are you doing, J-Daddy?
Oh, I'm stressing a little bit.
You're stressing?
But I'm doing okay. Just got a little stress going on in the life.
Why? It's only the holidays.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
Isn't it like the most stressful time of year for most people or whatever?
Dude, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
The assistant was talking about it with me the other night and just how like she loves giving gifts, but having to figure out and give gifts to like the entire family is just a pain in the butt. She would be like, she's plenty happy, like getting the mini assistant and me and maybe, you know, the close family friends or close family, maybe some close friends gifts. But it's like when we have one kid, but then when an extended family is like, oh, we're getting you guys presents. And we're like, great. You guys have 4 kids.
Yeah.
So now I have to buy 6 presents for the parents and the 6 kids, and you're buying 3.
Yeah. By the way, I have 3 kids at home.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Right. Exactly. You're like, oh, you got to now buy it for our cat?
Exactly.
Just to make it even.
And we have 1 on the way, so it's 4. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, it just gets over the top.
That's why I love white elephants. And I think that's why white elephant exchanges were invented.
To some extent, yes.
So that you only have to buy 1 gift.
Yeah.
And everybody gets to enjoy it. So
right. We it's not a secret Santa so much, but with my side of the family for Thanksgiving, we give 1 present to 1 person.
Yeah.
Like we just do we reach
draw
into
names.
Draw names.
Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that works. It's just nice. It's like, oh, I have to buy it for this one cousin.
Yeah.
And that's it. And now here we are. The assistant is buying for like 30 people. Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm already done. We bought that.
We're done. We got
I gave my present to my side of the family.
Yeah.
Granted, we're doing my immediate family still to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just gets over the top.
Yeah.
I almost want to get to the point next year where it's like, we're not giving presents and we don't want you to get us presents.
Whoa, Grinchy.
Bah humbug.
Jeez.
I mean, we'll give but that's to like some of these extended family people.
Yeah.
We'll give to my parents or give to my brother.
Have you guys tried pushing like a name draw or a white elephant or anything with that family?
Not my circus, not my clowns over there.
Okay. Yeah.
Fair. And granted, I'm stressed because the assistant is stressed. I'm not. It's like I don't even have to buy that side. We kind of buy our own sides of the family, and that works out really well for me because I don't have a very big family.
Yeah.
But she did the typical like white lady Christmas thing where she spent 2.5 hours yesterday at Target.
Oh my God. Were you there with her?
What? No. I'm like, hey, when are you coming home? It's dinner time. I'm hungry. And she's like, oh, I got a little bit more shopping to do. And then like 45 minutes later, I call her and I go, are you on your way home yet? Like, come on. I'm in the checkout line. I'm like, the mini assistant and I are hungry. I'm going to make dinner.
Yeah.
Like if you get home for dinner, then okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just ridiculous.
Friggin' white people.
Yeah, I
know. That's funny. I don't know. I'm not very stressed about the holidays, but also I told you earlier, I didn't even realize that Christmas was less than a week away. So
yeah. It really did seem like it snuck up on us.
Yeah. I was talking to the secretary yesterday and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and fix the backyard fence this weekend because the neighbor and I just can't seem to coordinate and get coordinated to fix the fence. I was like, I'm just going to go do it because I'm sick and tired of looking at it. And she goes, you can't. And I was like, yes, I can. Don't you insult my abilities?
Yeah.
And she goes, no, you can't because we're going to be up at my parents. And I was like, what are we going to your parents for? And she goes, Christmas? And I was like, bullshit. What?
That's this weekend?
Christmas? What?
Yep.
So, yeah, whoopsies, oopsie doopsie. But yeah, hopefully everybody else is enjoying the holidays and not getting stressed out. And that you guys have some good plans for coming up for Christmas and New Year's. Yeah, hopefully everybody enjoys it and has a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just future casting here for some extent. We're going to do a normal episode today. Monday is going to be a slightly shorter episode just because it actually falls on Christmas Day. We'll probably do a normal episode the following Thursday. And then I think we'll probably do a normal episode for New Year's.
Probably.
Yeah. So that's the next few weeks for us. We're not stopping during the holidays. We're not taking a break as much as I was thinking about it on the way down. But yeah, so we're going to continue to fill your ear holes in the next holiday season here.
I don't know. We may have to take a break so I can go snow wheeling.
Well, yeah. And then we get to talk about it when you come back.
Ooh, we're creating content.
Yeah,
we're
exactly. 100%. Oh, Tyler's going wheeling. Sweet. We're going to have something to talk about. Jimmy's going to be in a shop, hopefully, wrenching away.
Yes. Well, cool, man. Let's see. We are coming up at the end of December.
We are indeed.
We have a few things going on. One is the monthly giveaway, which is 2 Christmas presents, one from Jimmy, one from myself. And Jimmy swears he's going to beat me this year. And unless my gift makes it here from Italy, we'll see. He just might. It still hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah.
So,
well, you have shipping notifications, so right on it.
I do have a tracking number on it. Yeah. So
but it's the holiday season, so everything's slow.
Yeah.
I had a series of people reach out to me on Snail Armor and be like, "Hey, the package is late," and I'm like, "It's the holiday season. Give it a few extra days."
Yeah.
They're like, "It was supposed to be our Monday," and it was like Tuesday. I'm like, "Yeah, just if it's not here by the end of this week, I will investigate with the postal service," and then it like shows up the next day.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, like just it's the holiday season.
Carriers have a lot going on right now, shipping providers. So be patient, people. Let's see. So that's the giveaway. In order to get signed up for it, just go over to irate4x4.com and go down to the Snail Trail 4x4 forum. I think that's what it's called. Forum. Yeah. Forum. And
it's under the watch, listen, and discuss section.
That's right. There you go. And all your sign up options will be on the right-hand side. If you're on a computer, if you're on a tablet, mobile device, anything like that, it's down at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
So you can sign up, and you have until December 31st, maybe early in the day, because Austin probably goes out drinking like a wild animal.
Oh, yeah.
But he gets together with all of his Unimog friends.
It doesn't matter for this one, when they're not closing the tier. It stays open the whole time.
Oh, no, that's true.
Yeah.
That's fair. So, yeah, you guys have
to sign up till midnight on the 31st. You have to sign up on that day to be eligible for the giveaway. Once it's New Year's Day, you're into the January giveaway.
Yeah, you've missed the gift chances from Jimmy and I.
Mm-hmm.
So
you are going to want mine.
You're going to want mine for sure. So yeah, we will get those out and announce the 2 winners in January, probably first week of January there. So let's see. We also have a giveaway from Yokohama Tires going on. So that is done through the reviews over at Apple Podcasts. So just go over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. It can be about anything. It can say spaghetti. It can say Fireball sucks. Just pretty much anything but Toyota suck. We'll just delete those ones.
Or just not read them.
Yeah. And so, yeah, leave us a review. It can be any stars. Unlike, some other podcasts out there, we're not bribing you guys for 5 stars.
No.
We're
just bribing you for reviews.
We're just bribing you for the review. Yeah. So our entry to the bribery is a lot lower than some other podcasts. So
yes.
But anyways, once we hit 750 reviews, we're giving away a set of tires from Yokohama, which is pretty fucking cool for them to step up and donate a whole set of 4 tires, pretty much anything you want. It has to be a DOT approved compound and smaller than 20-inch rims.
Yep. Sounds good.
Pretty cool stuff. Thank you, Yokohama. And in the meantime, every 50 reviews we get, we do a giveaway for a swag pack. So we're coming up on 600 reviews right now, and then we'll have another one at 650 and 700, and then 750 is the giveaway for the tires. So head over and leave a review so that we can make it to more ear holes and you get a chance to win some cool stuff. So that was another giveaway thing we have going on. Do we have another one?
I don't think so at the moment.
Yeah.
We got a catalytic converter.
That's true. We have a used catalytic converter that we cannot sell because it's illegal to do so in California. So we can ship it out to somebody who wins a giveaway.
Absolutely. Another, what is a Pocky one chip challenge up there?
Yep. We have a one chip challenge.
We'll send that out with the catalytic converter.
That's actually going in my gift box for my Christmas present.
The catalytic converter?
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So a little,
I actually like that. We could clean this area up a little bit over here.
What do you mean clean that up? It's beautiful.
Okay.
We
need to pull more of the broken parts out again. That's what we need to set
those up. We need to set this whole room up.
We really do.
There's 2 boxes over there full of crap that we never put out when we moved over here.
Yeah. We need to make this studio into a more of a studio.
I had an idea.
I just had one right now. So
I had an idea for the middle table bar that we were kind of talking about, but I don't remember what it was now. I remember I was working out some point, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be a great idea."
Yeah,
and I don't remember it right now. So sorry.
Well, mine was the bar top from my college bar.
Oh, move that over here.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
And all we need to do is figure out legs for it.
Yeah. We could probably make some out of, I don't know, have people send in drive shafts or axle shafts or something.
Yeah, that's not a half bad idea. I was thinking some shocks would be kind of funny.
So the table bounces up and down?
Yeah, you lean on it long enough, it starts leaning in, sagging.
As the episode goes, we're just closer to the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Cool. So, yeah, I think that about does it. Shall we hop over into... I think kind of a funner episode. I don't know about funner. It'll be, I think, an interesting episode today. Or was there any more announcements that
I don't think we have any other announcements. We'll cover FNGs, birthdays, all that, just moving into January, that first few days in January. Now that we're strictly on iRate and no longer on that other service that has to delay us. So I say let's get over to maybe a new segment that
possibly we
might start implementing here. But this air quotes new segment is going to completely take over this episode.
Yeah, this new segment will, for now. I don't think it'll take over episodes in the future, but this one might. So we'll see how it goes. Where do we start? I have essentially what this came out because my Google News feed has started feeding me news articles that all kind of have to do with some interesting things for outdoor recreation, vehicular automotive industry, kind of stuff like that. So some interesting news articles have popped up on my feed. And so I just started I went down this rabbit hole of going through, and I was like, oh, this is a kind of a fun one. Oh, this is a fun one. Oh, this is a fun one.
Yeah.
So I kind of put them all down into a little notepad here so we can access them and go over them in an episode.
I think that's a fantastic idea. And that's sort of what came about. I had something similar happen on my end where I think a YouTube video popped up of BFG's coming out with a new tire.
Yeah.
And I think we might start a very short, some highlights or a very small segment in Thursday episodes, or maybe once a month or something where we'll just kind of go over some of the news.
Yep. So the first one that kind of started and kind of caught my attention really, a big time, is I'm a big fan of fusion, the theory behind fusion reactions.
Yeah. Isn't everybody
no,
here's
surprisingly,
2 things smashing together really fast.
You would think any man, any guy would be like, yeah, fusion, throw stuff together very fast and make boom.
See what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I did all my childhood.
Right. Yeah.
If I throw this against a wall, what will happen?
Yeah. I mean,
if I throw this at my brother, what will happen?
Isn't that the point of destruction derbies too?
Yeah, pretty much. I want to do one of those one day.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
We can do a snail trail 4x4 destruction derby sometime.
I'm in.
Okay. But this one was Lawrence Livermore Labs.
Wait, hasn't Ori built Destruction Derby cars before?
I'm pretty sure he has, yeah.
Because there's weird rules behind them. Like you have to move the gas tanks around.
I would imagine everything has to be really safe.
Yeah, you have to have a whole safety set up in them. So we'll have to, maybe we'll get in on a Destruction Derby. And we'll have him help us follow the rules.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Lawrence Livermore Labs.
So Lawrence Livermore Labs.
Which is like Chris's backyard?
Pretty much. He lives on the other side of the fence.
Okay.
From Lawrence Livermore Labs.
Got it.
And so
I thought it was right where the collision was happening.
Kind of. The fun thing is that Chris actually glows at nighttime. So
I know whenever he's around at camp, we don't need flashlights.
No, it's great. He's like a Devos light at camp. It's great. So thank you, Chris, for living so close to Lawrence Livermore Labs.
Matches his green eyes.
Lawrence Livermore Labs is kind of the world leader in fusion research. And the whole concept behind fusion reactions is that in nuclear reactors, typically fission is happening where they are splitting apart atoms to create energy.
Okay.
Which then when you do that, it creates radioactive isotopes as the resulting thing after the fission happens. Because you're taking and splitting atoms off of a material, which then makes the material radioactive. So the more you do that, it creates a shit ton of energy, which is useful for creating actually steam power in a lot of nuclear reactors. But what happens is you end up with this nuclear byproduct that is extremely toxic to everything around it.
Except for Chris.
He's grown to adapt to it. So, and we have no answer on how to dispose of it.
Got it. Okay.
So that's the big problem with fission. With fusion, you're accelerating and making particles combine, forcing particles together.
Correct.
In order to create a nuclear reaction.
Right.
The cool thing about fusion is that it doesn't create, you can do it in a way that creates non-toxic byproducts.
Right. It just uses an immense amount of energy to get a particle going like damn near the speed of light.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's always been the big problem is they've never been able to create a fusion reaction that creates more energy than it uses.
Okay.
Yet.
Yeah. Until now? Sweet.
So Lawrence Livermore Labs, just within the past, I don't know how long it's been, a couple months. This is when the news has come out recently, but how long have they been doing it? Nobody really knows except the people that work there. They've now done, according to this article, 6 tests, and 4 out of the 6 tests, they were able to achieve higher energy output than consumption.
That's unfair. That's impressive on every level.
Every single level.
There is nothing out in the world. Maybe there's something. I was thinking maybe solar cells, right?
Yeah.
Like there's pretty much nothing out there that creates more energy than it took to create it.
Correct. Right.
I think solar cells have passed that. They passed it a little while ago, but for a long time, solar panels took more energy than a solar panel ever made in its lifetime.
Yes.
But they've surpassed it. So I'm sure there are other things out there, but that's cool. So we've now come across it. And was it a nuclear reaction? Yeah.
So essentially they have these little tiny capsules that they shoot something like 200 to 300 lasers into. And it uses, like, they have to do the tests at nighttime because they draw so much power from the power grid.
Yeah.
That if they did it during the day, they would destroy the power grids.
Right.
when the consumers are using the power grid. So,
but if they're using that much power and then are making more power.
Exactly. That's the whole point of fusion is, in theory, you're creating more energy than you're using. And so their average energy creation has been about 40 to 50% more. They've had one of the tests created almost 90% more power than it used.
I want that, but for spending money.
Right. Yeah.
Like I want to spend $1 but get $3 back.
That's called investing.
That's true. Yeah. But I want that interest rate there.
That's called being a bank and interest. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's so super cool. I've always been a huge fan of fusion. Like it was at one point on my trip to New Zealand, actually, we were sitting down and talking about ways that, people are destroying and kind of slowly eliminating our natural resources due to energy consumption.
Sure.
And there was, we were kind of doing this roundabout talk of how do we solve the growing energy consumption of humans?
Yeah.
And resource usage. Right. And I was the only one that was like fusion immediately. I was like, fusion's the answer. It's one of the only ways that you can create more energy than you use and consume. And everybody was like, no, fusion's going to be the death of this world and it's going to destroy everything. I'm like, you guys are full of shit. Like, like I get it. You guys think about fusion as a nuclear meltdown in Chernobyl kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which there is potential for that, but the only way to fix those problems is to find those problems in the first place. And so I'm like in my head, I'm like, can we get fusion reactions within like AAA batteries size?
Right.
Like, do we get to that point? Oh my God.
Sure.
So
or
anyways,
just a small thing that can fit in my engine bay.
right. Exactly. So anyways, that's kind of, I've always geeked out over fusion technology and fusion theory and the science going on behind fusion reactions right now. And Lawrence Livermore Labs just had that massive breakthrough.
That's awesome.
I think is going to jump fusion research forward immensely.
So what does that mean for the off-road community?
Battery sized fusion reactors that we can power flux capacitors in our DeLorean off-road vehicles. Come on, Jimmy. Duh.
But what happens when I go 55 miles an hour?
88 miles an hour?
miles an hour, yeah.
Well, I mean, nobody knows what happens when Bobcat goes 88 miles an hour. Anyways,
tires are going to fly off.
I crack myself up. Anyway, so yeah, it's I don't know. I think that once we have a sustainable energy resource that can power vehicles faster than vehicles consume power, I mean, what does that do to vehicles? Are we going to start creating vehicles that have lasers on them now?
Well, or maybe other additional battery storage,
maybe
stuff,
yeah,
so that
power
we can
storage.
We'll rotate them for like we have a battery pack, and by this time, a battery pack will be like the size of a deck of cards that will be able to power the entire car and more.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like 2 or 3 of those. You only need one to run the car.
Mm-hmm.
You have 3 additional ones that you charge with this fusion power. And then when you get home, you just pull out those decks of cards and you plug them into your house.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can run your house all night.
Well, I mean, the idea behind fusion reactions, I mean, fusion power is just power. It's just electrons moving around. Fusion reactions creates the power. So it'd be the ability to take that card, plug it into your car, power your car, and then take that card, plug it into your house, and it will power your house indefinitely, like infinitely. There's no swapping cards out because it's creating the power. Does that make sense?
I follow you. Yeah. But it is hard to grasp.
It's totally hard to grasp, but that's, yeah. Anyways.
You have this thing that's always creating its own power.
Uh-huh.
And then you build a whole suit around it.
Uh-huh.
And you put it on your chest.
Exactly. And then you can fly around and fight bad guys.
And shoot lasers.
And shoot lasers. I mean, that's the whole concept behind the arc reactor in Iron Man, is it's a fusion reactor. So
I like it. Well, that's pretty interesting. And yeah, it's just cool to know, it's just a neat thing to know, just learning a little bit every day is a good thing. But yeah, now that they did this breakthrough, I mean, it doesn't mean anything like for the general consumer yet. For the general consumer right now at this point in time, diddly squat.
Yeah. It has no impact on them.
But they're progressing, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Science.
Science.
What was it? Have you ever watched Disenchanted?
I don't think I have.
Oh man, it's so funny.
But that's the sequel to Enchanted, right?
No.
The Disney movie?
I think there is one called Disenchanted. There's a Netflix I think it's on Netflix, but it's like an elf. It's like made from the creators of The Simpsons. Disenchanted.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called. But there's like an elf and it's in like medieval times, sort of. But then in one of the seasons, they adventure out of their kingdom and go to a steampunk land.
Okay.
And the main lady named Bean goes like, "Oh, this is so cool. It's science." And she can't say science. Science. This is, oh, wow. Science. This is rad.
Nice.
Anyways, moving on.
So next one, there is a kind of a famous FJ cruiser.
Okay.
That around NorCal here.
Yeah.
If you know it, you know. If you know, you know, right? It's on like 49-inch IROX, completely linked, LS powered. It's a very impressive, very clean FJ cruiser.
Yeah, absolutely.
That the owner, his name is Josh.
Okay.
And he has his toy hauler. Have you seen that thing?
I have.
Yeah. It's essentially a big rig flatbedded.
Yeah.
With a big old living quarters in it as well. Pretty cool. Super smart dude. And supposedly he has it for sale now.
Oh, okay.
I'm questioning whether it's actually for sale.
Why?
Because it's $200,000 is the asking price.
Yeah. If somebody wants to buy it for $200,000, it's
right?
For sale.
And I think it is a very clean build that might be worth $200,000, but the for sale ad is hilarious. And I personally think he just has it listed for $200,000 so he could write this for sale ad.
So he could brag about his rig.
Yes, that's
okay.
my guess.
Are you going to read it to
us? I'm going
to
to read this for sale ad.
Got it. Okay.
So earmuffs, if there's any kid, not necessarily, but there's a lot of references here that adults will get.
Okay.
Not for jack stand wheelers or pussies. This bad boy is LS powered. That's right. Just starting it will have Karens looking around like Stevie Wonder. Going through a midlife crisis, low on testosterone? Does your wife refer to your manhood as the power noodle? Well, here's your chance to get that thing swinging like Ron Jeremy again. Just breathing on the throttle will have you going from frightened turtle to tucking that schlong in your sock. It may say Toyota on the grill, but make no mistake, this thing is a dick with four wheels. It don't just drop panties, it's Bill Cosby's them. Get ready to carry a stick with you every time you take it out. You'll need it to beat all the pussy off. It's a 2007. Even though it's 14 years old, I guarantee Epstein would mess with it. Fuel consumption is horrible. It swallows more than your last 3 wives combined. Unlike them, this bad bitch fucks on the first date. So get the Christmas bonus money before the child support takes it.
$200,000.
$200,000 if anybody is having a midlife crisis and is looking for a really, really nice built, very well done FJ Cruiser, contact Josh. If you need to figure out how to get in contact with them, message me and I'll figure it out for you.
There you go. Perfect.
Anyway, so that one caught my attention.
Pretty funny. Got a lot of adult humor in that one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So next update is snow and weather update for NorCal.
Snow and weather. Yeah, it is dumping down here.
Yeah.
And I never thought I would say this or have it happen to me. Mm-hmm. I hydroplaned in Clifford, the Ford F-250.
Wow.
On the way down here today.
That's impressive, actually.
Yeah, I was only going 55.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I was driving down and all of a sudden I felt the car literally lift up, or the truck lift.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden I was just drifting towards the shoulder. I was in the slow lane and I was just drifting towards the shoulder.
Wow.
And yeah, so it was pretty fun.
Interesting. I was literally just driving around in the downpour yesterday evening, thinking, man, I'm glad I'm driving an 8,500 pound truck right now.
Right. And I don't know what the little tiny Honda Sienna, or not even a Sienna, whatever the small one is.
The Honda Pilots.
Yeah. No, it was a car. A Civic or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that one got through right in front of me unscathed, but for whatever reason, I just hit this patch and just lifted me up, and I didn't spin or anything, but it was all 4 tires, and I just started floating towards the shoulder of the freeway.
Yeah. What is the best thing to do when you're hydroplaning?
I believe it's just let off the throttle and keep it straight.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they start hydroplaning, they freak out and try and correct the steering. And that's really the worst thing you do because
it's like you're on ice.
You're on ice essentially. And as soon as you gain traction again, you're going to go flying. So the best thing to do is just let off the throttle, let the car coast, and try and keep it as straight as possible. Don't correct steering. Don't move stuff.
A lot of hydroplaning is a weird combination of speed and the pressure of your tires on the ground. So if you slow down a little bit, then you probably are just going to sink back down and be back in contact. So yeah, don't freak out. Don't hammer on the throttle or hammer on the brakes. Just let it go. And hopefully there's not a car right in front of you stopped. Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, we are getting a lot of rain right now. We've been kind of talking about it here and there on the podcast. We're expecting an El Nino year, but nothing's coming in. We've been super dry all of December, and all of a sudden it looks like in the next week to 2 weeks, we're going to be getting like 10 feet of snow up in the Sierras. I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. So it has been dumping rain over the past pretty much 24 hours.
Yeah. But it's a warm storm right now.
It is a little warm right now. So we made like snow levels are like at 8,500 feet right now, which is pretty high for the Sierras. Typically when winter storms come in, we see 5,000, 4,500 feet snow levels. And this one's way high up there. We're kind of looking at the next cycle stuff coming through. When it gets cool enough to drop the snow levels, it's going to be December 20th.
Okay. I'm ready.
And today is, I think, the 19th, if that's correct, when we're recording.
Yep. So tomorrow, supposedly.
But yeah, we're getting snow, hopefully, on the horizon here, and lots of rain coming down. So I went out and bought new windshield wipers.
Good.
For the 4Runner. I get the Rain-X ones every single year. So
I have been so impressed with the Rain-X ones. I got the Rain-X silicone ones.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, I think they're like $30 each.
Yeah.
They're expensive.
They're expensive.
But they lasted through a Northern California summer, which I'm sure there's other places in the world that's similar to ours, but it gets hot, and the Tacoma Park's outside all year long. And so it just gets baked. Yep. And those silicone Rain-X wiper blades survived a summer, which I've never had any other wiper blade do. It immediately started working like it was a brand new blade as soon as I started using them for the first time in the season. And I was like, wow, okay, this was worth its money because normally wiper blades are a few, like $5-10 each.
The cheap end, you're looking at 12 to 15.
Yeah. Okay. So if you buy the nice one and it lasts 2 years, you've equaled your money. And if it goes another year, it will save you money.
Yep. My whole thing with windshield wipers is mainly on the 4Runner.
Sure.
Like I will buy the most expensive windshield wipers on the 4Runner because during the winter, I need to keep the front windshield clear of any moisture as much as possible because the 4Runner fogs up quickly because I'm in and out of the 4Runner getting wet in the snow or getting wet in the rain. I jump back in the 4Runner. There's a lot of moisture inside now. And so in order to keep the front windshield from fogging up, I found the best thing for that is to get really nice windshield wipers each time.
Yeah.
I buy the, $35, $40 each Rain-X silicone wiper blades, and they are phenomenal. It costs me $80, but I do it once a year as part of my yearly maintenance on the 4Runner, and I do it kind of right at the start of once the first rain hits, I go out and get them.
Yeah,
and so I drove up to Pollock Pines to buy windshield wipers. We'll get into that later.
Okay,
but yeah, that's another thing I hark on every year for people as a reminder. If you're in a colder climate or a rainy climate during winter, get the Rain-X windshield wipers. They are super nice to have and they're worth the money. Yeah. And we're not sponsored by Rain-X. I don't get any cutback. We don't get any cutback from Rain-X. Although if anybody's from Rain-X is listening, we love your products. We'd love to have more.
Yeah, 100%.
It's worth it. It's only a few bucks extra and it does wonders for making sure that you can still see in any amount of downpour. So
yeah. And I like the fact that it lasted a season and the blades are still good here the next year. So,
yeah,
I mean, it sounds like Tyler's buying them every year because he just wants the best on the runner for that year. But for me, it was, I I want wiper blades that can last for an extended period of time.
Yeah, you don't want to have to replace them each year.
I don't want to have to replace them every year. And the blades on Clifford are actually really bad. And I almost stopped and got new blades before I headed down here because it's raining all day today and I'm driving on a freeway and that's like the worst condition with all the spray and everything goes up.
Yep.
And they're like the chattery ones. And I bought new blades before I went to Moab this year.
Okay. And they're already.
And I just bought some normal, like give me some normal, mid-range blades.
Yep. If they're chattering, then that means that the rubber got baked.
Yep.
And it's no longer rubbery.
Exactly. So I'll probably go buy some Rain-X silicone ones for that now than knowing that they last for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I those are the ones, those Rain-X silicones, I get them for all my vehicles once they need new windshield wipers, and the 4Runner gets them every single year, and regardless. And so, I think now that you mention it, I do go 2 years in between replacing the windshield wipers on the other vehicles. So yeah, cool. So I just wanted to give that weather update for NorCal here. If you're in the Northern California area, I know we have a lot of listeners. You're experiencing the weather. You're very aware of it. But if you're not in Northern California, you guys have some fun winter content coming your way here in the next month or so. So
yeah, I've been seeing a lot of videos online of some of the snowstorms coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that Instagram reel or possibly a TikTok? I don't do TikTok, but the Instagram reel of somebody driving, I think it was in Canada, because said it was -18 outside.
Oh yeah.
And they were driving down a freeway and there was all these cars parked on the side of the freeway.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't understand what was going on though.
They were all electric vehicles.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Yep. Electric vehicles and lithium batteries do not do well in the cold, extreme cold temperatures. That's why my biggest gripe with what's happening in California with the move towards electrification vehicles is that it seems to be driven by San Francisco and LA. Mm-hmm. Because they don't understand what it's like to live up in the Sierras.
Correct. Yeah.
And we have a shit ton of people still that live up in the Sierras that will not be able to live on electrified vehicles.
Correct. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Not going to work.
Once it gets cold, everybody knows when it's cold outside, batteries don't work.
Yeah, your phone doesn't work. Your key fobs don't work. Like it's
our camera gear doesn't work.
Camera gear doesn't work.
Or whatever battery you have.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And that's my biggest worry about, them, harping in, that's not the right word. Cutting down on power generators, gas power generators and 2-stroke motors.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. I do. My argument, which is online with yours, is do that for the major populous areas of California,
the nice climate areas. Yeah,
don't do it for the rural parts of the state. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that we just can't survive on electric everything where I live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it's crazy to me that they're still moving forward with all of this and moving over the entire state when there's a lot of area of the state that gets frozen over during the winter.
Yeah. Very narrow-sighted or
very narrow-sighted,
or whatever. Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. So lots of weather coming through.
Mm-hmm. Here's an interesting one.
I'm ready.
So this one I think is going to spur some debate. I got to pull up the article here to make sure that I'm reading and getting the stats correct from it.
Okay.
But let's see. So Bedford, Oregon.
Okay. Yeah.
Forest Service resource specialists have established that changes to camping regulations are needed across the Hoosier National Forest to reduce negative impacts currently occurring. So essentially what they are saying is that they are going to, let me go down to the things here. They're going to be changing camping in the Hoosier National Forest.
Okay.
To say camping is not permitted at or within 300 feet of a designated trailhead unless located in a campground or otherwise permitted. So an established already campground. So
interesting.
All these rules are essentially aimed at dispersed camping.
Yeah.
And then camping is going to be prohibited within 100 feet of ponds, lakes, trails, or streams, except at designated sites. And camping throughout the rest of the wilderness is not restricted. So they're saying that they're going to be shutting down all camping. You're not allowed to camp anymore within 300 feet of a trailhead.
Okay.
Or within 100 feet of a trail or pond or lake or stream.
So really, you're not allowed to camp.
Yeah. I mean, you have to go off the beaten path in order to find and go camping.
That seems totally backwards.
You would think, right? Because by doing that, and the reason why they're doing this,
so that is really pointed at foot traffic.
100%.
Right? Because if I can't drive, where do I park? So you can't get there. Yep. So, or do you want me to drive off the trail more than 100 feet so that I could park my truck?
Yep.
So I could camp.
Or you have to park your truck in the trail because you're not allowed to drive off trail, right? That's a rule for national forests.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you have to hike all your stuff a minimum of 100 feet away from that trail.
Interesting. Yeah.
That road.
Okay.
Yeah. 100 feet from the lake. You're not allowed to park or camp next to a river anymore or a creek anymore.
Yeah. Well, it is nice to park next to or be next to water. Absolutely. But there's a lot of like rules in the backpacking community that you're not supposed to go to the bathroom within 100 yards or 100 feet of a watershed area.
Yep.
You're not supposed to cook or do any like throw out your gray water or anything within 100 feet of any water. And so, I mean, it's sort of still along those lines, but now they just don't want you.
Yeah.
Near within 100 feet of water.
So this is exactly why, right? So they're citing that the negative impacts currently occurring in those sensitive areas is the loss of vegetation, soil erosion, human waste runoff, all of which negatively affect water quality. And so they also want to protect sensitive areas such as caves and historic structures. So you're not allowed to camp in caves or in historic structures anymore, which I'm like, yeah, that should be followed anyways. But,
yeah.
And improve the camping experience for visitors by reducing crowding and setting back campsites to be out of view of the forest users. My concern with this is I agree. It's already a rule not to go to the bathroom near a sensitive area, not to dump your gray water near a sensitive area. So if that's already a rule and people aren't following it, then why make another rule that people are probably not going to follow?
Because our society has to cater to the weakest link. Unfortunately.
Yes.
And we're not a society or not a group, or I'm not even sure what a good term would be, but we're not a type that is self-regulating.
True. Yeah. And I agree, but it's like you're regulating the people who are following the rules, who are already not shitting near water and they're not dumping their gray water in sensitive areas. You're just regulating those people further.
100%.
Yeah. And the people that aren't being regulated are the people that are uneducated and they just don't know any better. And they're going to go in and continue doing it anyways.
Absolutely.
So if the rules are there, if they've created the rules so that they can enforce things, like you can't enforce something if there's no rule about it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So if there's already a rule about not dumping your gray water and not doing these bad things in sensitive areas.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much
still doing it.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much of a rule that is, or if it's like this, like a thing that you should know that you should not be doing. Right.
That's a good question. I've always understood that it is a rule, but I've never confirmed that.
Yeah. I would not say it's a law.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, how does that fall? Is it a rule of the forest and they just go, no, I'm going to slap your hand. You shouldn't be doing this. Or is it a law
that they can fine
they can fine you for?
That's a good question. I don't know,
because maybe it's just a backpacking sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can camp near water, but don't cook near the water. Don't go to the bathroom near the water. anything that you're doing, just don't trample in the bushes.
Yeah.
Protect the vegetation and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But is that an actual, like, how do they enforce that? Does somebody just go, hey, you shouldn't be doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the right. And that's the enforceability of it. So if like, that's my question is if they're not enforcing the dumping gray water in sensitive areas and doing bad things in sensitive areas, how are they going to enforce camping this new rule now?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's sort of the reasoning that they're making these rules is so they can start enforcing the rules.
Yeah. And that's so yeah, I want to know if the rules about, gray water in sensitive areas, is that an actual rule or not?
Yeah.
Cause I've always understood that it is, but I don't know actually.
Yeah.
So it's a good question.
I don't have that answer. So, but I don't like this, but at least they're still letting people out.
Yeah, true. They're not just shutting down the forest or shutting down trails.
Yeah, exactly.
Now. Yeah.
And to some, I think they're specifically hitting the overland community.
Oh, totally.
Right. It's a direct attack on that because it's like, you can't camp on the trail. You have to camp 100 feet away from the trail.
Yeah.
So now you have to park on the trail and now carry all your stuff 100 feet away from your vehicle to make your camp.
Yep. So your vehicle cannot be a part of your camp anymore.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they are specifically targeting that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an interesting rule. And the fun part about rules is once one national forest does it, they typically carry over into other national forests.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see kind of how this turns out. Yeah. How it rolls through in the future. I'm very reluctant and hesitant to say that this is a good rule, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, if the other rules are not in place that saying you shouldn't be shitting at a watershed area, then maybe we do need something like this. Cause I mean, that was our biggest issue on the Rubicon Trail was people were shitting places.
Yeah.
And it really, ultimately the answer came down to, we need to give people a place to shit because people are still going to come up and people are still going to keep being people.
Right.
So rather than trying to stop people from being people, give them a place where people can do people things.
Yeah.
That's kind of my argument.
You and I have discussed a wag bag service to some extent, handing out free wag bags at trailheads.
Yep.
But there's types of people or, specific people that will abuse it no matter what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
So and unfortunately our culture or there's people out there that just don't care.
Yeah, totally.
That, they just wanted, this is it's like, this is the way I've always done it. So I can continue to do it this way.
Yep.
Or they just have no idea what's good or bad.
Yep.
And they're uneducated. Ignorance, right?
Yeah.
They're ignorant about it. And unfortunately, we have to cater to that.
Yeah.
No matter.
So is making more rules the answer? Or?
It goes right in line with gun laws and gun rules, right?
Yep.
It's just, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Let's actually, so I have another article here to kind of talk on that concept, right? California.
What concept?
You'll see in a second.
Okay.
California is revamping its concealed carry laws.
Oh, gun laws. Got it.
Gun laws.
Moving on.
But it's on the same concept here. So what they're doing is, in short, there's a lot of legalese. I'm sure there's people that are going to write in and be like, we didn't cover this legal part of it, this part of it, that part of it. So this is just kind of a general overarching generalization of what's going on, because there's an important part that we just talked about from the previous article that is going to
happen
on this one.
Yeah. Okay. I already know where this is
going. Yeah. So in short, California is stating that in order to get a concealed carry permit, you're going to have to undergo more training than before. They're doubling the amount of training you have to go through.
Okay.
And not only that, the trainers have to undergo more training. now in order to train.
That makes sense.
The training.
Yeah.
And then they're also stating there's some other things and hoops you have to jump through, right? And all of it is stating that they're making carrying guns safer because they're educating people more. That way, people who have a concealed carry permit are more educated and trained to use that tool, right?
Okay.
So it's the same concept as like your driver's license.
Yeah.
You get educated on how to own a vehicle and how to drive a vehicle and use that tool. And therefore, once you have that license, you're now permitted to do so because it's inferred that you understand how to use that tool.
Okay.
So here's the problem that I have a problem with. Here's the part I have a problem with.
Yeah.
They are stating that they're adding more places to which you cannot carry at all. It's illegal for you to carry even if you have a permit to carry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So you would think that if you have to undergo more training and prove that you know how to use that tool and you're competent in using it,
that you should be able to have more places to carry.
You would have more places to carry, right?
Yeah. But that's more restrictive.
They're restricting it even more as to the places that you will be allowed to carry with the more training. And so again, it kind of comes down to you're creating more rules to control the people that are not following the rules to begin with.
Yeah.
And this seems to be a common theme
in life.
In life. And as we go through life, it seems like more and more rules keep getting created to control the people that are not following the rules to begin with.
Yes.
And it's like, where do we draw the line?
How do we stop it?
How do we stop it? How do we fight it? And I guess ultimately it comes down to, we need to be more active in politics as a community, as a society, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the right word is. I know that a lot of people are just going to write in and be like, oh, fucking leave California, blah, blah, blah. Get out of the state. And I'm like, the previous article we just went over is in Oregon.
Right.
Which is granted another liberal state, but it's like at some point we look at how, a lot of the rules that happen in California and start in California.
Yeah. Trickle down, they go countrywide. So it's not just move and leave the state. Yeah. That's delaying the inevitable.
Exactly.
Or
that's a cop out.
Yeah. Or you can live here and fight it and help protect everybody else.
Yes. So, just articles and things keep happening over and over that I'm like, why do we keep trying to bubble wrap society?
Yeah. Along this line, I have had a fun conversation with one of my cop buddies.
Okay.
A CHP friend of mine about how I for the most part, I said, I feel like I'm a superior driver. So I should be allowed to do more stupid shit.
Yeah.
Right. And
I can go 90 miles an hour with a trailer, 10,000 pounds towing behind me better than anybody else out there. Why can't I do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I'm pretty good at drifting and sliding sideways and it's fun.
Yeah.
So I should be allowed to do it.
Yep.
Right. And his thing was, well, how would I be able to know the difference between if you have that ability and like maybe there's a level 2 license.
Yeah.
Like I'm class C level 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, how would I as a peace officer know that you have that license and have the ability to do that? Like do all those levels have red cars? Right. Or what? Like how do we enforce that? Because now you do have this superior thing. Do I just pull you over and then you show me that you have level 2 and we just go, okay, cool. You know, go on your way.
Yeah.
Or what? And it, in a way that this random idea that I've had
totally
falls down onto these other conversations that we've been having about like, if I'm a certified wilderness or maybe not wilderness, outdoors expert and so now I'm allowed to camp at my vehicle and I'm allowed to camp near
within
water.
100 feet of water.
Yeah. Within 100 feet of water. How does how do they enforce everybody else? Like so a ranger comes into a campground and goes, who here is a level 2 expert camper? And somebody holds their hand up and they goes, okay, everybody else has to move all the way over there.
Yeah.
like, is that a thing? Like,
they do that right now for campfire permits.
Well,
that's how they enforce campfire.
Not,
yeah.
Right. It's have a permit or not.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what they come into the campground and say,
True.
Yeah. And if, in my opinion, if you have more, I don't know what's the right word, I just had it in my head. If you have more privileges because you know a few more things and you've been trained on a few more things and you can prove that you know those things and you have those skills.
Yeah.
And you fuck it up. I think that the enforcement part of it in, the repercussions for you fucking it up are double or triple what a regular level Class C. So a level 1 Class C license.
Sure. So you speed, you're going 75 miles an hour and in a 65 and you get a ticket, it's $100, let's just say. But if you are Class 2 driver's license and you're allowed to go 75, but now you're going 100, or
it's
let's just say
$1,000.
Let's just say 10 miles an hour over again.
Yeah.
So you're going 85 instead of 75. Yeah. It's $1,000 or $500 more instead of $100 more.
Yeah. The repercussions.
So then why would people move up?
That's a good question because because
I could get pulled over 3 or 4 times before I even equal what would it would be if I sped more.
Yeah, at some point it would come down to revoking. I mean, it'd have to have some sort of series of, hey, you fucked up. I mean, the whole point of repercussions is that hopefully you don't do it again.
Sure.
So if you continue doing it, then your repercussions get worse and worse too. So
bad example to some extent, but I think that, I do think that there should be something there. Maybe there needs to be a wilderness permit to state that you have gone through this training and you understand how to properly dig a bathroom hole or how to use a wag bag or where to camp and proper vegetation that you're allowed to walk on. I don't know, maybe there needs to be something like this.
A dispersed camping permit that's kind of done similarly to how fire permits are done. I mean, you're not paying anything for a fire permit. You watch a 5-minute video that tells you how to properly put out a fire. And you have a fire permit now.
Yeah.
I wonder if the same concept could be done for dispersed camping.
Maybe. Yeah.
And that way you'd have a dispersed camping permit. So if you don't have a dispersed camping permit, then you go camping designated campgrounds because there's resources available that takes your garbage out for you. Sometimes there's a resource available that empties the pit toilet there for you.
Right.
There's different things that takes care of stuff because you don't know how to take care of it. Whereas dispersed camping, you have to take care of it all yourself. It's a much greater, higher responsibility. So maybe there would be a dispersed camping permit. That's just a video that you watch and then you save the permit on your phone. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, what would you think of that out there? I mean, would you be okay with that?
I would totally do it if there's no cost involved, because the whole point is education, right? The whole point is we're just trying to educate people that you don't shit next to a river. You don't shit in a lake
pond
or a pond or something, right? So as long as the education is getting done and people are getting educated and there's not really a cost, that's not a money grabbing thing. And there's no cost to putting a video up on a website and letting people watch it.
Right.
I mean, there's some background costs of running the website and DNS stuff, but it's very, very minimal for the value of educating people. I'd totally be for all for that. It's kind of like the new licenses you have to sign in some of the states now when you get a side-by-side. You have to take a side-by-side class and watch a side-by-side video in order to buy a side-by-side in some states now.
I think that's smart.
I think it's a great thing because it's all based on education. We're just educating people on how to properly use the tools that they're allowed to use.
Yeah, I think that, I'm not opposed to the idea. I think that there's a lot of things that would, in my head, I'm like, well, we need to do this and we need to do this and this would probably need to happen. And I wouldn't want it to be like an hour-long thing.
No. Yeah, because then you have a barrier to entry on it taking that much time.
Right. But to some extent, that barrier of entry would be a benefit. And, I've got all these things in my head. Like a campfire permit passes for like an entire group. So does everybody that's camping need this permit, or does one person need it for the entire group? I don't know that answer, because it might be okay for one person to have it as long as you can like, hey,
that person is responsible.
Is responsible for the entire group.
Exactly.
And if they come back and they find out that you guys left all this trash or you left a burning fire, or anything, then you're the one that's liable.
Exactly.
I think that might be fine, but it's now comes down to that one person regulating his friends.
And it takes a specific kind of personality to be able to do that, and a specific friend set to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
There might be something
topic,
there.
Right?
Yeah, there might be something there. I'm curious what listeners think about that. If they would be open for it. In my mind, what can we do, like something like an outdoor permit, camping permit, that would allow us to continue to camp at our vehicles in this county or at this national forest.
Hoosier National Forest. Yeah. So it's an interesting thought. Like instead of, and it would, if we can figure out an answer to this, I don't know what the answer is, but I think that getting the discussion rolling about it, I think people are in general extremely smart creatures.
Yeah.
And we can problem solve and come up with good solutions to problems. I think that creating more rules to control people that don't follow the rules in the first place is a really bad way of problem solving.
Yes.
And so I'm like, let's find a different way to solve problems of people not following rules. And I think it comes down to education, but it's like, who wants to spend money on education?
Right. Well, and the people that break the rules are not the educated one anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. The people listening to this podcast are the more educated people.
Definitely.
That will follow the rules.
Except for all those JK owners.
True.
Yeah.
Or JLs.
They're the same crowd now.
Yeah. Unless you have a latte maker.
Yeah.
In your Jeep.
Yes. So on that note, I have one more article.
Okay.
Consumer Reports.
Oh, fun. Best vehicles of 2023?
No.
Oh.
The 10 least reliable cars, according to Consumer Reports.
Okay. 10 least reliable.
Yep.
Okay.
Least reliable of 2023.
From Consumer Reports.
From Consumer Reports.
All right.
Stellantis.
Okay.
You know Stellantis?
Yes, but I can't answer. I don't know the answer to that one. I know the name and I know it's a car company. I don't know what they cover.
It's essentially the umbrella company that owns Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, all those Ram, all those car brands, right?
Okay.
They make up 40% of the top 10 cars that are least reliable. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to go through this list of top 10 least reliable cars according to Consumer Reports. So the way that Consumer Reports is done is they get data. They get reports from consumers that have purchased these vehicles in 2023. So they had 330,000 vehicles and consumers that they reached out to and talked to about their vehicles.
Okay.
And problems they've had with their vehicles and whether they are happy with their vehicle, they've had no problems with them, or if they've had a lot of problems, and overall, how does the consumer feel about these vehicles, right?
Okay.
And so let's see, reliability score 1 to 100, which is the lowest score is the worst. So we're going to go through this in ascending order.
Got it.
Which means we're starting at number 10 and working our way up to the winner, which is the least reliable vehicle according to consumers.
Okay. I'm ready.
Number 10. Jeep Wrangler.
Jeep. Wow. At least you're not number one, Jeep.
I know, right?
This time is not good to be the number one. Yes. So congratulations, Wrangler.
Yep. So Wrangler owners, which is a JL and JK platforms. I think in 2023, JLs mostly is who they're reaching out to. So yeah, number 10.
Ouch.
Least reliable vehicle out there. Number 9. Jeep
what?
Grand Cherokee.
Oh. Okay. Jeep Wrangler and Jeep Grand Cherokee. Yep. Well, at least you're not number one. Yeah.
At least you're not number one.
I guess there's still 2 more of that company to go.
2 more Stellantis vehicles to go here.
Okay.
Number 8, the VW Volkswagen Jetta.
Really? The
Yeah,
Jetta.
The Jetta.
They don't say like models or anything or like engine styles in there, do they?
No, they don't show trim
It's just-
models
okay.
or engine stuff. It's just the model line of the vehicle.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if it's like nobody likes the TDI and that's why that one's bad, you know?
Yeah,
But the
right.
gas engine version of this is really good.
Yeah,
So-
right. That'd be an interesting thing if they could split it up that way.
Yeah. But then it would be the Jeep Wrangler Sahara, Jeep Wrangler Limited, Jeep Wrangler,
Right? Yeah,
the Rubicon,
the
Jeep
4xe, and all,
Yeah.
all these. Right. So interesting. Yeah, that'd be cool if they could do it to another level like that
Mhm.
next year. Or if anybody's done it to that kind of level before.
I'm sure they have the data.
Right. I
They're
would
like,
think
what
so.
model of Jetta do
Exactly
you have?
what vehicle do you have? What engines is in there? Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. So the next one. So that was number 1098. So this is number 7,
Number 7.
the Nissan or Japanese compadres,
Yeah. What Nissan?
the Frontier,
The Frontier.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which they redesigned in order to take on the Tacoma.
Yeah. And didn't do as good as a job.
Apparently they're not doing well with consumers that have purchased the Frontiers.
Is that why our friends are taking a break right now?
So two things popped into my head. One of them was
trail
them.
chasers are at the dealership still.
Yeah. Not happy with their Nissans, all the trail chasers. And I was also going to make a joke about maybe that's why our Nissan friends at KOH had so many issues last year.
Maybe. Yeah.
Brady, I love you, buddy. But they were not driving Frontiers. So
No.
I couldn't, I didn't go there, but I did go there.
Yeah.
Number 6, Jeep.
Which Jeep?
Jeep Grand Cherokee L, which is interesting because
Yeah, they broke that one up.
I don't know enough about Jeep model lines to know if the Grand Cherokee and the Grand Cherokee L are drastically different vehicles or if they are breaking these up and that's a broken down version of the Grand Cherokee.
All that
Right?
I know that L means, but it primarily in like European models, is it's just longer. Like
Interesting.
like a BMW 325iL is like a longer 325i,
Interesting.
right? And Mercedes does the same thing where they have an
Okay.
L, but it's a bigger,
Longer
wheel base.
The wheelbase or cargo area or all of the above.
The vehicle's longer somehow,
Hmm.
but I don't know what the Jeep Grand Cherokee L does.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Huh. Or if they are breaking up in subsets and actually the Jetta is the
It's just
lowest
all of them
base.
are there?
No, it's like the
Yeah.
lowest baseline one. It's not the Jetta,
the XL or whatever. Interesting. Yeah. I'd like to know more information on this, on the data set and how they did this then. Let's see. Number 5.
Number 5.
This one was surprising to me.
Yeah. Okay.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yeah. Number 5. Rivian.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The R1T. So the truck.
Interesting.
The
Yeah.
Rivian truck.
It's not terribly interesting for me because it's like its first year out.
It is. It is the
So,
first year. Yeah.
I mean, you're spending a lot of money for a very first year vehicle, which is probably, no manufacturer has everything solved in the first year.
Yeah, the first iteration. That makes a lot of sense. But I'm interested. This one surprised me because everybody who I've talked to that owns a Rivian truck has loved it.
Yeah. Okay.
They love the vehicle. Yeah, I don't know I'm curious what people are having issues with because I haven't heard really any negative feedback on them yet.
Right. That would be also nice to have a little information on this.
Like what were the most common complaints about these models?
Common complaint, transmission issues, or whatever.
Yeah. Except they don't have transmissions.
Well, I was just saying a generic.
I'm
one
guessing,
doesn't have it.
I'm guessing. I do know that there's a lot
that
of
one's electrical. That
it's
one
electrical issues.
That would be which would be so many things in that vehicle.
So I got to go and drive CJ with the CJ's Rivian SUV. He pointed out some things that were annoying for him, and they're all like person user features.
Okay.
like UI interface features of door handles in weird spots and the pockets in the door in a weird tucked in spot that you can't access them very easily.
Sure.
And so I'm wondering if
how that gets filtered through these. Like, is somebody calling and be like, they put the door handle in a really stupid spot. Right? I don't like this car.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay. Yeah. And then the Jeep people are calling in and being like,
my transmission burned down my vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, these are two different things.
Yeah. So anyways, I don't know. They don't tell any of that information. They just go through and be like, in the article, it says, oh, this vehicle's in this position. This vehicle's in this position. It doesn't say why, give any rhyme or reason to it. Let's see. Number 4. The Volvo XC60.
Oh,
so I don't know what vehicle that is. I don't know what type of vehicle that is. I've thought that Volvo typically had a pretty good.
Volvo is very well known for their safety ratings.
Gotcha.
So it might be an extremely safe car if it can't go anywhere.
That's fair. Yeah, that is fair.
I know somebody that works at Volvo. I'll have to inquire. What was it?
The XC60. So X-ray Charlie.
XC60.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll ask. Go, hey man. Saw that the XC60 is 4th on Consumers Reports least reliable car. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the next one also surprised me.
Okay.
Number 3. The Ford F-150 hybrid.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So this one surprised me a little bit because I've gone and looked at the hybrids. I almost bought one. I was debating on the hybrid or the Lightning.
Yes.
And
did you buy either of those?
No, okay. I bought a 350 dually. I went big boy. But anyways, I looked at the hybrid and I was pretty impressed with it. And Ford, especially nowadays, is typically pretty good about designing a vehicle with good UI and UX, right? User interface and user experience. And the features of the hybrid they look really good. I'm curious though, if they're just not playing out the way that they look.
Sure.
On paper, right?
Yeah.
So I know that the hybrid, the really big cool thing about the hybrid is that it's a P2 hybrid in the F-150 platform. So they have the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine in it, which is already a phenomenal engine, backed by the hybrid motor as essentially your torque converter. It's between the engine and the transmission, which means instantaneous torque and a vehicle that really gets up and goes. And you get a ton of horsepower, a ton of torque out of the drivetrain. But the nice thing about the hybrid setup of the F-150 is that you get a 220 volt inverter in the truck, which means you can run a 220 welder off of the truck. And it's really designed and set up as like the true tradesman's vehicle. That you can go in, plug in any power tool to it. You can plug in a welder to it and go do a job on site with this truck. So I'm curious if consumers are buying it because it's a hybrid vehicle and then they're getting a tradesman vehicle out of it and they're not happy, or if there's actually a lot of issues with the hybrid system in it.
Right. Or I was curious if it's like they just weren't as happy. They expected more out of a hybrid.
Yeah, maybe.
Like it being a hybrid, like, like a normal F-150 gets 15 miles per gallon and this one only gets 17. Like I expected more out of a hybrid, or whatever it is.
My hybrid RAV4 gets 60 miles per gallon or whatever.
So I wish they did give us more information about most common complaint.
Mm-hmm. And this is the only Ford on this list too, which is interesting.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like typically Ford nowadays gets a lot of bad consumer reports. I think they've got a pretty good hand on how to make vehicles now. Finally, good job, guys. Anyways, that one surprised me. The next two didn't surprise me at all.
Okay.
Volkswagen Taos, Taos. I've never heard of the vehicle.
Neither have I. Yeah.
Which makes me think that it's like a Nissan, like not an Xterra, a Leaf or what was that? The the little tiny Nissan vehicle that I don't even know if it's still around. It very well might be, but just nobody knows about it.
The electric one?
No, it's a gas one, but I don't remember what it's called. But anyways, I feel like this is one of those vehicles.
The Maxima?
Yeah, maybe. Except it was like a little mini SUV.
Oh, the Juke.
Maybe that. No, I mean, it's kind of like the Juke, but the Juke is actually unique because it has a unique look to it. So people remember it based on that.
I like that truck. SUV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. The VW Taos.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. I don't know what kind of vehicle it is, but apparently consumers are not happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2, most reported.
Okay. And number 1. The least reliable vehicle of 2023.
Well, according to consumers.
Yes.
So we've had on this list so far, we've gone over 9 vehicles and 3 of them have been Jeeps.
Yeah.
Stellantis products.
Okay.
And we said 40% of the list is Stellantis.
Yes. So what's number 1?
Number 1, the Stellantis Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid.
Wow.
So that's their minivan, right? The Pacifica is a minivan model?
Yeah, I believe so.
So the minivan hybrid model, which is surprising to me because typically those Chrysler Pacificas, they get pretty good reviews from people that have them. Because the amount of technology and shit you can throw in a minivan for family purposes, and typically people only buy the minivans because of family purposes. So typically people are fairly happy with them.
Yeah, I agree.
And this one was the most hated by actually a pretty big margin.
Oh, did they have percentages or something?
They had percentages. Okay. Yeah. The reliability scores.
Brian Murphy just got back to me. It is a minivan.
Yeah.
There's one brand new for $58,000 at Folsom.
Nice. Hybrid?
Hopefully not. Actually, the ad only says 2023 Chrysler Pacifica plug-in.
So it's usually a hybrid.
Probably, yeah. Don't buy it. Okay.
Wow.
I'm going to look at, what was the other VW one before
the
you
VW Taos. Taos.
VW.
I mean, Brian's going to look it up?
Yeah, that guy too.
Thanks, Brian.
It's an SUV. Yeah, it doesn't like show a very good size proportion. There's somebody in front of it. Yeah, it is a smaller SUV.
Okay.
It's nothing. It doesn't look too massive.
Okay. That's almost like the size of maybe slightly smaller than a Highlander, about the same size as a Highlander.
Or would you say, what was it? The Jeep Rebel?
I don't even know what that is.
The small one? The small Cherokee?
Oh, okay. Maybe, yeah. That's about the size of a small Cherokee. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here's another interesting. So that's our top 10 percentages.
Yeah.
So reliability score was 1 to 100.
Yes.
For the consumers. And so they answered I guess the consumers answered questions and gave it a score on that question of whatever it was.
Okay.
So the Jeep Wrangler was a 27. Grand Cherokee was a 26. The Jetta was 25. The Frontier was a 23. The Grand Cherokee L was a 23. The Rivian was a 22. The Volvo a 21. The F-150 hybrid was a 19, and the VW Taos 18. Okay. So pretty much the top 9 were all within 8 points, 7 points of each other.
Sure.
9 points.
27 to 20 to 18.
Yep. 27 to 18. So they all actually were within 9 points of each other, the top 9. And
so what was number 2 again?
The VW Taos.
And the percentage
18. And then the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, number 1 with 14.
Ouch.
So it had a 4-point jump.
Yeah.
Between 1 and 2.
Dang.
Yeah.
None of them were that
nobody
really
had really a jump in points at all between them.
Yeah, they're all pretty linear.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah. So
don't buy the
Chrysler Pacifica.
Yeah, Stellantis.
Here's an interesting one that now that I'm scrolling up and down through the article, there's a related article at the URL here. The URL just says Consumer Report says BMW makes the best cars, Land Rover the worst.
Well, I think we could have said that without the Consumer Reports.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to dive into that article. I just, that was a fun one to catch my attention.
What was that? Can you hear that? I think Donnie's yelling at us.
Donnie. Oh, he's calling actually right now. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey, we'll let him leave a voicemail. We'll listen to it later.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, that was fun.
That was a fun article.
Yeah, that was a good one for sure. Cool. Well, yeah, I think having a little bit of news, maybe in the future on some episodes might be coming people's way. I think there's just stuff out there that is fun to learn.
Yeah, it kind of pops up, and we're all about educating here on the podcast. We've said it multiple times, and as long as we can have some fun while helping spread a little bit of education and entertainment, that's what we're trying to do. So we're having some fun with it, and hopefully you guys learned something today.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to reach out to us and comment on how Jeep should be ranked higher, or let us know if you think wilderness camping passes is a good idea, you can reach us on Instagram. I'm over at Snail Trail 4x4. Tyler's at 4x4 Toyota Tyler. You can always email us, Jimmy or Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com. Or you can phone in and tell us how silly we are at area code 916-345-4744.
That's all we do here is make silly solutions to life's problems.
It's the only way to get through life.
Right. All right, cool, man. With that, Jimmy, do you have any final words for everybody out there today?
I was just happy that Toyota did not make that list at all.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
I'm ready, sir.
Why did Frosty's girlfriend break up with him?
Because she melted his heart?
Oh, not bad. Not bad. He was a total flake, though.
Oh, yeah. That makes more sense.
Yeah. What's everybody's favorite part of the Christmas Carol? I think I sort of said this one another time.
I don't know.
The Silent Night.
Yeah.
Who is Santa Claus's favorite pop star?
Santa Claus, favorite pop star. I don't know.
It's Beyond Slay.
I don't think that one works. That's a stretch.
Beyond Slay.
Uh-huh.
No?
No.
No. Why did the snowman get lost?
I don't know why.
He didn't snow his way home?
That's also a stretch.
Dang it. At least in the northern hemisphere. Why is it always cold during Christmas?
I don't know.
Because it's December.
So that one's better. That one's better.
All right, good. What did the icy road say to the truck?
See you later.
Want to go for a spin?
Yeah.
Why are elves such great emotional speakers?
I don't know.
They have plenty of elf confidence.
I don't get
self-confidence.
Oh, got it.
Elf confidence? No, not a good one.
That's not another good one.
What do you call a Christmas rom-com about bread?
I don't know.
Loaf, actually.
Okay.
These are really
These are
bad.
all like, yeah.
What is it called when a snowman has a temper tantrum?
A meltdown.
Yeah. Hey. We'll leave it on that one.
Hey, that one's actually a good one to leave it on for this week, for this episode.
Yes.